Okay, so I'm in my last few hours here in Tunisia, and this is what I'm saving for last because it is the biggest tourist attraction here in Tunisia, and it's also only 10 minutes from the airport, so the logistics pretty much make this work out perfectly. This is the other big thing that Tunisia is known for, and that is its history with the Roman Empire, the Phoenician Empire, and the Byzantine Empire. This right here is the city of Carthage. Now, if you look at a map, you'll notice that Tunisia is right across the Mediterranean from Sicily, which made Tunisia a very accessible place to the Romans. So, like I said, all throughout North Africa, along the Mediterranean coast, you can see all sorts of Roman ruins, from public baths, to amphitheaters, to even a Colosseum, which is 3 hours south of here, called El Gem. And from what I understand, it's the biggest Colosseum still standing today outside of Rome itself. Now, this is a very interesting city for a number of reasons. It was founded about 3,200 years ago, all right, 1200 BC. It was first a Phoenician city, and this is actually not the first Phoenician city that I have visited. Let me get out of the sun here. I also, last year, visited Phoenicia itself, Lebanon. And if you go back into my past videos, you'll see one from September last year where I actually filmed one at Baalbek, which was the biggest Phoenician city, I believe. So this, like I said, it started out as a Phoenician city, and it was a major trading post between here and Lebanon itself. And rumor has it that this was actually the richest, wealthiest city in the world at one point. So, I know I've focused the camera on this a few times. This right here is what they call the Punic Quarter. This is Phoenician. I don't think it's quite as old as the city itself. I asked the guy in the museum. He only really spoke French, so I couldn't really get an answer out of him as to how old it is. But that's one of the neat things about this city, or this particular site right here, is that you can actually see the ruins of all three empires that laid their hands here. Now, about 150 BC, or 146 BC to be exact. I'm not sure if the Romans actually kept that record, but that's what they're saying. 146 BC is when Hannibal came over and basically conquered the Phoenician city of Carthage. And that was the fall of Carthage. Now, at that point, he also took all the locals and sold them into slavery. And about 100 years later, Julius Caesar he had built a new Roman city on top of this. So we go up further, and you can see actual Roman artifacts, like that pillar, and all of these pillars, and those statues. Now, we go in here, and we're going to see more of the Roman artifacts. Now, the ruins here in Carthage are actually scattered all throughout, well, they're really scattered all throughout Tunisia, but the ones in Carthage are scattered all throughout the town, so I can't get every single one of them in one clip. So you'll see a bunch of pots right there, some statues of what used to be a horse, and some more columns right there, more columns right there. One of the things that is only a few blocks away from here, and I'm not really going to show it to you in this particular clip, is an amphitheater. The amphitheater is actually not that impressive, and I'll explain why. It's amazing to see how they built it, but it kind of reminds me of when I visited the Great Wall of China back in 2009, that while it's impressive that people were able to build such a thing so long ago, you can tell by looking at the masonry that it has kind of like been plastered over to cater to tourists. And there was another door that said Entrée VIP, which means VIP entrance. And there was all sorts of scaffolding and lights. So that leads me to believe that they're still doing some modern shows here at what used to be a big historical, something of very big historical importance, which kind of makes me want to throw up in my mouth. So, without further ado, this is a lot of what they've also recovered. And further down here, you'll actually see the Mediterranean Sea right over there. And this right over here, more columns, more columns. This right over here, okay, what is that called again? Five, the Judicial Basilica. Okay, Judicial Basilica. There you go. Okay, so that sums up my time here in Tunisia. Like I said, my actual trip itself is by no means over. After this, I still have 2 countries left to bring you footage and video from, if I can. Like I said, the last one is the most challenging one, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I'll be able to bring you some good footage. But once again, thank you very much for watching, and tune in tomorrow to see my first update from my next North African country on my adventure.